Slavemaster Drokk is a multiple phase encounter. To start, Phase 1 only has one telegraph that is incredibly easy to dodge, but whenever Drokk returns to this phase, he will add a mechanic. For this fight, I recommend all players bring a CC break, as well as any types of snares, roots, or stuns that they can. We will get to the reasoning in a couple of phases. At around 85%, Drokk will despawn and transition to the next phase. In this phase, the party should group up by the green door where Drokk was initially standing. At this point, 20 or so bombshell constructs will rush through the door and assume predetermined positions throughout the pit. One of the last constructs through the door will stop right in front of the group and must be DPS'd down before it blows itself up. Once the remaining constructs have exploded, you'll move on to the next phase. Drokk will now respawn, and you will be in the first modified version of Phase 1. Drokk will now summon 2 bombshell constructs. These constructs will randomly choose a player, move to their position, stop, and start to explode. The tank should constantly move the boss away from any of these exploding constructs. Once the constructs have exploded, 2 more will spawn. This will continue for the rest of the phase. At around 65%, Drokk will despawn, and the beacon phase will begin. An announcement will inform you that a tracking beacon has been placed on a random member of your party. This beacon is a 14-second dot that does significant amount of damage and causes the Destructo constructs to chase the affected player. If any of the constructs reach the beaconed player, they will immediately explode and kill anyone nearby. After the 14-second dot wears off, a new player will be given the beacon. To deal with this phase, the beacon and the healer should group up at the back of the room, and the DPS should attempt to kill the Destructo constructs while also keeping them as immobile as possible. After 3 players have endured the entire duration of the beacon, the constructs will self-destruct, and Drokk will respawn. In the third version of Phase 1, Drokk will also place an individual player on lockdown. Lockdown tethers a player to a position and also causes that player to take a small amount of damage over time. If possible, the impacted player should use a CC break ability to immediately break free from the tether. If a player is unable to break free, the party must DPS the tether down to free them before a bombshell construct explodes. At around 50%, Drokk will teleport all players to the outer edge of the room and tether them. Drokk will also begin casting Deplete Silo from the safety of the green door. This telegraph is an expanding ring that will do a large amount of damage and knock players down if they are hit by it. To avoid this, line yourself up at the edge of it, wait for it to explode, and then roll through. Once all players have broken out of their tether, by either DPSing them down or by using a CC break, I recommend that they group up at the back of the room. Drokk will now stop casting Silo, engage the tank, and enter another modified version of Phase 1. The added mechanic in this phase is called Suppression Wave. This 2 interrupt armor ability is similar to Deplete Silo, but in addition to the expanding rings, it will also leave dangerous patches on the ground. Suppression Wave must be interrupted. I recommend setting up 2 interrupt groups that both contain 3 interrupts to ensure this ability is never cast. At around 25%, Drokk will transition to another beacon phase. This phase is a slightly modified version of the beacon phase. Now, in addition to all the previous mechanics, bombshell constructs will also spawn and attempt to blow up players. These constructs rarely cause issues here. After the third beacon has run its course, the party will enter the final phase. Thankfully, Drokk does not add any more mechanics in this portion of the fight. Players will need to continue to interrupt Suppression Wave, CC break from their lockdown tether, avoid the bombshell constructs, and continue to dodge the nagging circular telegraph that he's been casting from the beginning. Good luck!
Hopefully this video was helpful. Again, my name is Livid Hatter. Follow me on Twitter @LividHatter or youtube.com/LividHatter. Peace.